Hey guys, it's CJ Hart, and today I'm going to be doing my second Storytime video. First, before I get into the story, I want to apologize for the late upload. I was supposed to upload yesterday on Friday, my normal upload day. But yeah, I was very busy this week at school. I had a lot going on, and I'm just trying to get better at time management. So again, I'm sorry for the late upload. Today's story time will be about the time I was in a play. I was in a high school production of A Midsummer's Night's Dream, if anyone knows, it's a Shakespeare play. And this was during the beginning of my sophomore year in high school. I'm a senior now, so it's about time I look back on these memories. Yeah, I had a lot of fun in the production, but there was a lot of drama. Drama. There's a lot of drama with the drama kids. No surprise, but I thought this would be a great story time because not a lot of people know what goes on behind like high school production plays. Though if anyone's watching this and they have like the opportunity to audition or be in a play, I highly recommend it because it's just so much fun. You make a lot of friends, you like learn different acting skills. It's a fun time. It's something to do after school if you don't have anything going on. This is really the only extracurricular activity I did do in high school as of right now. So I want to look back and like tell the story of like how I got into the play in the first place and everything that went on after. The story begins, I believe it was either the last week of August or the first week of September. I had asked my mom, like, hey, could I audition for this play? It's tomorrow, and I really want to go. I think I have a chance of being in the production. She's like, okay, you can audition as long as you get it right, and also you need to tell me the schedule if you do get in. Because there was a really... like, you have to go to rehearsal pretty much almost every day. I didn't, but I had a very small part. So for my audition, I performed a monologue from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, the original book that the movie is based off of by Lewis Carroll. And it was a monologue of, like, her growing and shrinking after, like, taking the potion and eating the cake. And I thought I did pretty well. I mean, I didn't stutter. I was very clear. I knew what I was doing. And yeah, I think it did very well. I did get a callback. I did get a role. For those who don't know what A Midsummer Night's Dream play is about, the plot is kind of hard to explain. Basically, there's about 3 or 4 plots going on throughout the whole play. There's 4 groups of people, which were like how the teacher broke up the play so it was easier to do rehearsals. There are the royals, the lovers, which are the main characters, the fairies, and the mechanicals. And I ended up being a mechanical. Each group has a certain plot that's going on with them. The royals and the lovers were pretty much connected. The royals didn't have that much of a role, but they did have pretty big monologues at times. And they started off the play. The lovers were the main characters, and a lot of the plots centered around them. It was kind of like a forbidden love triangle, but it was actually a forbidden love square because there's 2 couples. The girls were there was one couple that they were both interested in each other, and there was one girl who was interested in a guy who wanted the girl who already had someone. It's really hard to explain, sorry. It's a great play, though. If anyone has the chance to watch it or see it, it's a really good production, especially ours. We had so much fun, both rehearsing the play and also helping with the set, because the set had a lot of props and decorations that needed to be done that couldn't just be done by the theater production class, which is the people who make, like, the set designs. So, yeah, let me tell you about the character that I played. The character is Snout, Tom Snout. I did play a man. He is a mechanical. I believe he was a tinker, Tom Snout the tinker. And with the mechanicals, they actually each had 2 roles. So you would play one character out throughout the whole show, and then the Mechanicals' main plot thing is that they're putting on a play within the play. So they're putting on a play for the Royals and Lovers at the end of the show. And we're like the comic relief characters. We're the ones that, like, you know, have a lot of jokes and funny situations. One main thing about A Midsummer Night's Dream is that one of the characters, Bottom, gets turned into a donkey, and that is an ongoing joke because his last name is Bottom. He's an ass. And that scene in particular was very fun to rehearse and to perform. The character, Bottom, goes off stage in his human form, and then when he comes back, he has a donkey head, but he doesn't realize, and he doesn't realize why we're all screaming and running from him. Yeah. In my opinion, we were the best part of the show. But anyway, it was very fun. You were very close to the people who were in your group, as well as others. Like, mostly everyone was really nice and, like, non-problematic. Though there were some moments where it was like, ooh, especially with other groups. And I know, me too, I had some moments where it weren't my best. So rehearsal was 3 or 4 times a week. I only went like 3 times a week because I would sometimes like skip rehearsal just to hang out with my friends. I know, horrible commitment issues. So for those who aren't in drama or have never been in a play before, the last week before the actual production like airs, like you actually perform it for the first time, is called Tech Week, aka Hell Week. And that is the week where you try to get the most perfect run through of the play as possible. All the set pieces and designs are ready, all the costumes are ready, and trust me, they weren't. Like, we needed that Tech Week. And basically, instead of rehearsal being like an hour and a half, it was from the time school ended to 9 o'clock at night. Crazy, I know, but we did eat dinner together. We did have like break times. Like, we weren't constantly rehearsing. However, during this week, a lot of stressful tension was building up. I think it was the stress from like some people not being off book yet, which means you know all of your lines. A lot of my costume pieces went missing, and I had to literally have 3 versions of my costume. And it was a lot. Like, we had weekend rehearsals too, where it was just, we didn't really get much done because it's the weekend, you know. So yeah, Hell Week in particular was very stressful for a lot of people because at a certain point we realized we really weren't as far into like the production as we needed to be. A lot of rehearsals leading up to that we were slacking off. There were people who couldn't be there because they had other commitments. It was very rare that you got everyone in your group there and rehearse at the same time. So let me think. Like I said, some of my costume pieces went missing, and with the costumes, like, we pretty much picked them out ourselves from the costume room. Like, the teacher gave us ideas of what we were looking for. We would look for that in the costume room. And since I was a mechanical and a tinker, I had there's a plane going on over my house. Where was I? My costume pieces would go missing, even though when we picked them out, we had them on a hanger with our name on it and the whole costume together. And I remember first day of Tech Week, I went to go see if my costume was there, and a piece of it, like an overcoat I had, was missing. And I was like, what? And I was very upset, and we looked everywhere for it. It was gone. So I had to get another coat, which was really ugly, and I hated it, and I freaking hid it so I didn't have to wear it. So I was just in a brown button down and some men, like these tween men dress pants. Since we were mechanicals, we did have to wear like earth tones and stuff. And then for the second part of the play, where we're actually in a play within the play, if that makes sense, my character was a wall. I literally played a talking wall, and for that costume, the theater tech group painted a sheet with like a brick pattern and cut out a hole for me. And at first it was very heavy, it was way too big. The hole in the head was way too big, and you could pretty much see my costume underneath it. So luckily one of the costume people, she was nice enough to like sew it up and fix it for me, and also trim pieces off of it so it wasn't too big and long. And yeah, if I had pictures, I would show you guys, but I don't know, maybe I'll find some. It was a really great it was really fun. Everyone loved the wall character. Actually, the one night, I remember a bunch of people from the theater went to Denny's. I didn't because I had homework I had to do. But they were doing votes like, oh, who's the best character? Who's the most popular? Who's the hottest character? And I got second place as the wall, and it was so funny. Yeah. I didn't just stand there as a wall, though. I did, like, talk and have a role. It was very funny. Pretty much the symbolism of the wall was that I was the wall between these two forbidden lovers. And it was kind of a Romeo and Juliet situation where one of them thought the other was dead, and then she ends up killing herself, and then everyone's dead. Classic Shakespeare. So what else happened during Hell Week? Oh, one of the most stressful parts was that Homecoming was around the same time as our play was originally supposed to end. Like, the last night we were doing the play, because we had 5 shows. The last show that we were supposed to do was the weekend after Homecoming. And I remember, I wasn't on stage, I wasn't rehearsing, but this was like, I think the first day of Hell Week, and it was Monday. So I go upstairs to use the restroom. I come out, and one of the tech kids is like sitting there eating his lunch, and he's just like, did you hear the teacher? And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, she came up here and screamed, fuck, hella loud. And I was like, what do you mean? And then he told me that supposedly it was supposed to rain the day of Homecoming, and that they moved it to the next week, which falls on the exact same day as our closing show. And I didn't realize at the time, but that's actually really bad. So basically, the Homecoming dance would be happening at the same time as our last play performance. The teacher was obviously very stressed out about that because they changed the dates without even consulting her. And supposedly this was a big thing. Like, the ASB department and the drama department have had beef before, and they never see eye to eye, which I can understand, like, how that would happen. But the tech kid was filling me in. He's like, yeah, the teacher's very upset. And then this other guy who's a big part of the tech department, he's been in tech for like years, came out of the bathroom, and he's like, what's going on? And then the tech kid fills him in, and he gets hella pissed, and he's like, the ASB kids are always fucking doing this every single time. And then I was like, wow, this must be a really big issue. And he told me, like, okay, well, maybe we need an extra week. Maybe we should extend it so that our last show doesn't fall on the first day. And it's just like, we've had this schedule for weeks. I don't know why all of a sudden they decided to change it. And he's like, yes, but have you seen the play? Like, it's nowhere near ready, and we're going on in 3 days. So, yes, it was very stressful. The teacher gave us a very long speech. She called everyone in after this, and she gave us a very long speech about how we're still going to go on the performance. She's going to talk to the ASB president and the teacher who oversees all this, and she's going to find a solution. And we were all like, okay. But it sucks because a lot of people are involved in this play, and that means a lot of people have the risk of missing Homecoming. So in the end, it did all work out. He said that, like, because with dances, you know, like, you're only allowed in for a certain amount of time, and then they close the gates and they won't let anyone else in for, like, halfway through the dance because they don't want more people showing up. Even if you buy a ticket, you need to get there right away, or else you're not going to be able to get in. So the ASB department was nice enough to give us free entrance to Homecoming for the inconvenience, and they also gave us late entrance. So, like, after the play, we would all go there together, we would all check in together, and we would be able to enjoy the rest of the Homecoming. And it worked out pretty well. I didn't end up going. I actually gave my free ticket to a friend of mine who wasn't feeling his best, so he decided last minute he wanted to go, and I'm like, sure, you can go. I'm a good friend. Anyway, what else happened during Hell? I remember there was a lot of tension because both the mechanicals and the fairies had a dance number they had to rehearse and perform during the play as well. The fairies was a lot more complicated because they were dancing and singing at the exact same time, and it was a ballet routine, sort of. And their timing had to be perfect, otherwise it looked really bad. And everyone in the play, everyone in the tech department was talking about how bad the fairies were doing. Except for one or two people, because they had taken dance before and they were doing really well. It was certain fairies that were having a hard time. And that's okay, because not everyone's a dancer, not everyone's a singer, and not everyone can rehearse under so much pressure. But it was, the fairies were getting very short with each other, is the way to put it. I remember it was in between scenes. Me and another mechanical were in the dressing room, or the makeup room. There's the makeup room and then there's the costume room. So we were at our mirrors, doing homework or whatever, getting ready for the next scene, and then 2 fairies come in pissed, and they are just I cannot believe she's doing this. Oh my god, I'm so upset. And then me and the mechanical turn around and we were like, is everything okay? And they're like, no. This one girl, she's not getting the dance right. She keeps messing up and she keeps getting us yelled at. So then right after they say that, the girl they're talking about walks in, and then my mechanical friend's just her, whispered under her breath, her. They're just yeah. And then she was actually, the girl who kept messing up was a friend of mine, and I felt bad. And I was okay. And then our group, the mechanicals, had a dance number as well at the end of the play, and I had actually missed the first rehearsal of that dance. Back before Hell Week, so then I had to get filled in on that, and we were struggling. We were really struggling. There were different versions of the dance that we tried to, see it easier, and I remember one of my mechanical friends, she was having a hard time with the dance as well, and I was her partner, so then I was really stressed out because my mom was on my back about grades at the time, so whenever I wasn't on stage or I wasn't busy, I was doing homework. And the girl came up to me and she's like, hey, we're practicing the dance again. I was like, again? And I did have a bit of an attitude. She's like, yeah, we changed it so that it's easier. And I was like, oh, okay. And then at the end, we just decided that me and this girl aren't going to dance. The 4 others are going to dance, but we're just going to stand here and clap. It ended up working out pretty smoothly. I have no complaints. Now, for the actual shows that we performed, went pretty well. There were a few minor mix-ups here and there. There was a lot that went on behind the scenes that I don't think people really know about plays, such as, the set. We had these huge platforms that, the royals, the lovers, and the fairies had to stand on at times. And in the beginning, they weren't very stable. It didn't seem like they could support more than 1 or 2 people at a time. So the tech group really had to reinforce them and make sure that they were steady enough so that we could stand on them and not collapse off and die. Fun. It was really fun, but between scenes, because there were certain scenes where we were in different areas. So let's say if we were in the forest, the platforms had to be moved differently than if we were just at the castle where the royals live. So in between scenes, sometimes we would have to push the platforms into place and then pull them back. And those scenes were not light. It took pretty much the entire cast, as well as the tech group, to get them into place in time. Knowing your cues, there were speakers in the dressing room so that you could listen to when the next scene was coming up, as well as there's usually someone in your group listening behind stage to make sure, you don't miss your cues. I never did, but at the same time, some nights I was just so tired and I would fall asleep in between scenes. And my teammates or the people in my group would have to text me yo, we're scenes coming up, and I was like, oh shoot. Yeah, it was really nice. Hell Week, albeit very stressful, it was super fun. For dinner we had different themes, different nights. First night was potluck. Second night, I believe we got pizza. And third night, it was sandwich night. So it was make your own sandwiches. So much fun. I loved everyone in the play. There were some people, did some funny things. I, too, had my moments, like I said. Still, it's an experience I'll never forget. in my heart, I'll always be a theater kid, even though I was only in that one play. I was going to be in the spring musical, it just didn't end up working out. And who knows, maybe I'll be in this year's production at my new school. I want to thank everyone so much for watching my videos. I'm trying really hard to manage this whole school and YouTuber thing. And I'm also trying hard to get into art school as well. The artwork I'm doing right now, I'm not very proud of it. It was super fast. I did just whip this up just for this video alone. But I'm actually I kind of like how some of the characters turned out. Not too happy with Chiffon because you can't really tell it's her. But Cinnamon Roll and Mocha are pretty identifiable. Yeah. What else? If you guys really have any video suggestions or things you want to see from me, please let me know down in the comments. This video is super late this week. I'm really sorry about that. I'll try really hard to stay on schedule next week. We're gonna upload. I think I'm gonna upload this tomorrow. There's just some more editing I need to do. But then again, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you next week. Bye.